There's a lighthouse across the island with armed guards. I heard from the warden that the lighthouse is totally abandoned. It's just a sewage treatment plant now, and the warden already sent people to check it out, finding nothing. Just as he said that, he wrapped things up quickly because that lighthouse was etched deeply in Teddy's mind. After dinner, Teddy and his partner Chuck started grilling everyone. There was this young guy who worked night shift at night, and he was avoiding eye contact like it was a high. This gave Teddy, the interrogation expert, a golden opportunity. Tell me the truth, or I'm sending you to the bathroom forever. Bathroom? What? You think I'm gonna stop the interrogation? Never. That minute was enough for someone to pull a Houdini. So Teddy started digging into what the female patient was up to right before she vanished. What weird stuff she did or who she met. A pretty nurse mentioned that the patient's doctor, Sean, was throwing a treatment plan seminar in the ward that night. But when Teddy asked about Sean, she mentioned he was on vacation. Perfect timing. You need to talk to him. Well, that's a no-go. He left on a boat this morning, and his vacation was perfectly planned. You've let him off the hook for far too long, and now a dangerous patient has escaped. That was a genius move, indeed. And going on vacation? Of course, he's a doctor. Do you have his number? Asking for a friend. But guess what? The phone lines were down due to the storm. Murphy's Law, am I right? So they had to let go of the Sean lead for now. But no denying Rachel's disappearance was definitely linked to him. Rachel's got a connection, for sure. As they left, Dr. Crowley unexpectedly invited them for drinks at his place, to unwind after a stressful day. Little did they know, that invitation was actually for a psychological experiment. Oblivious, Teddy followed him in, and the place looked like $1,000,000. The lavishness contrasts sharply with the insane asylum. Dr. Crowley said it was built in WW2. As classical music played softly from the record player, Teddy's WW2 memories started bubbling to the surface. Just as things got nostalgic, another key player entered the scene. Meet Dr. Norman, the German shrink, of the same rank as Dr. Crowley but with a prescription pad and a penchant for medicine and biology therapy. He believed in going straight to the scalp when meds didn't cut it, severing neural connections to knock out aggression and wild thoughts. It's called lobotomy, a fancy name for turning your brain into Swiss cheese. Meanwhile, Dr. Crowley was all about the talk therapy role-playing to burst the patient's bubbles. If he could crack that defensive barrier, the patient would realize their fantasy didn't match reality. Instant wake-up call. On their first meetup, Norman fired off tons of psychological tests. He was shocked to find Teddy had some serious psychological defense mechanisms, like hiding the last piece of cake. After back and forth dialogue, Teddy lost his patience. He traveled far to investigate a missing case. So he flipped the script and demanded to see the files of the female patient and her doc, Sean. He was hoping to find some juicy leads. But Dr. Norman absolutely refused, leading to a heated argument between them. We deeply regret this, but we'll help you out nonetheless. But this particular investigation is over. We'll send the report to you, buddy. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back. You got it, pal. Teddy might have said they were leaving tomorrow, but in his mind, he had already plotted the next step. Later that night, looking at the note left by the female patient, he contemplated what 67 could mean. He kept pondering until he drifted off, dreaming of his deceased wife. She revealed that not only had the female patient Rachel never left the hospital, but also that her killer, Reeders, was locked up in the very same asylum. Plot twist. One weird detail stood out. The woman, who was supposedly burned to death by Reeders, was all wet. Talk about mixed signals. They hinted that her death had different layers. Teddy jolted awake from the nightmare, and outside, the torrential rain was falling like a dramatic movie scene. No ferry was leaving. Since he couldn't leave the island, Teddy had the perfect excuse to keep investigating. Dr. Colley, visibly annoyed, settled for having Teddy interrogate 2 female patients from rape. The first patient was quite a handful. She had an innate hatred for women and had even cut a female nurse who was looking after her dad with a glass shard. Well, a lifelong scar. Teddy's inquiry on Rachel sparked her misogyny, making her lose control. Luckily, Teddy figured out she hated scratching sounds, so he scribbled Igor until del Y in his notebook. Teddy aggravated her on purpose, hoping to pry out the killer Reedus' whereabouts. In the process it was selfish, but hey, he was on a mission. But upon hearing Reedus' name, she panicked and requested the nurse to take her back to the ward. Talk about this scary name drop. Next up was patient number 2, who got fed up with her cheating husband and ended his life with an axe out of anger. Go big or go home, right? When Teddy asked her about the details of Rachel's disappearance, she conveniently dismissed Chuck to fetch her water. Sneaky. Taking her chance, the woman quickly jotted something down on Teddy's notepad and then slipped it back. Classic move. Teddy played it cool and didn't mention it. When Chuck came back, the woman drank her water and put the cup down. Teddy then casually asked if she knew a patient named Readers. The female patient trembled and hurriedly left, terrified of Readers. Now the investigation on Rachel and Readers hit a standstill. Out of options, Teddy thought about checking out the cemetery in the back of the grounds. She recalled seeing in the paper Readers sentenced for setting fire to his wife a year ago. Other than the maximum security C block, the cemetery was the only place left to explore. Maybe Readers had already been buried in a coffin by now? On the way, Chuck asked what the first patient had written in the paper. After much hesitation, Teddy retrieved his note. It read RUN. Suddenly the storm intensified, and they had to take shelter in a small tomb behind the cemetery. Coming to his senses, Teddy reminisced about his time as a soldier in WW2. He had witnessed just how horrific humans could be to each other, with all the odd disappearances in the asylum. Combined with the latest RUN note, Teddy suspected the asylum was definitely doing creepy human experiments. So this time, he was determined to expose the island's schemes and save those suffering patients. Time to go full superhero mode. If interested, subscribe to our channel.